Hey guys, Crozo here, back with another video for you. Today I'm going to be going over a 13 Motherlode I ran the other day. First, I quickly want to go over my gear. So I'm 662.9. I've got 26% crit, 21% haste, 44% mastery, and then 2% verse. When I use consumables, like food and flask, that'll change obviously. But this is my current gear, using the Signet of the Priory on use trinket, and the passive Mug's Moxie Jug trinket, and my talents for the key are as follows. They're the pretty generic Mythic Plus standard for Demonology. Okay, so before the key starts, like always, I will pre-pot and then pre-use Fel Domination. You'll keep your potion buff and Fel Domination buff when the key starts. You can summon your pet quickly, and you'll keep your potion buff, when the key starts. With this key though, we have to walk pretty far, and it takes a second for the tank to gather the mobs, so by the time I'm actually doing damage, my potion is almost worn off. You don't really need to pre-pot if you want to save money, especially as Demonology, because you have to like ramp and stuff before you do any damage. So in this pack there are a few things to keep in mind. First off is going to be kicking these iced spritzers. This is a chained stun on a target. If you have this on the healer or the tank, they're just going to be stunned, can't move, can't do anything, so it has to be stopped. The assassins will apply poison to their blades. You want to kick that as well, otherwise they're going to be doing plenty of damage. And one thing as warlocks we can do is one of the mobs will charge you and knock you up in the air. You can place a demonic circle on the ground. That way when you get knocked up, you can teleport straight back down, like this. It'll prevent you from getting knocked into other packs, and also just give you more uptime. Lastly in this pack, there's a mob called a Mech Jockey, and what he will do is he will run over to the Peacekeeper suit, and if we don't kill him or stop him in time, he will jump in the suit and like spawn a whole new ad. So you just want to make sure you CC this ad on his way through as well. You can knock other people with that circle. So be careful, to get out of the way of other people, or if that is on you, don't run over someone else. For this part of the dungeon, there are quite a few ways you can skip this Peacekeeper mob. In this pull, we don't end up skipping it, but at the same time this video goes out, I'm going to be releasing another video with several skips in this dungeon, so I'll go over the skip I used there. So once you kill the Peacekeeper, if you go the normal route, generally you'll want to go left and stick close to this wall. We can skip the mobs that are nearby. So we get by, and in this area there's another Peacekeeper here. He will just pat back and forth between two static locations, so we'll just wait for him to turn back the other way. We'll run by and skip him, no problem. In this next area, there's another skip you can do, but I'll have that in the other video I mentioned. In this group, we're just going to kill all these mobs here, including the Peacekeeper, but the tank doesn't want to chain pull the Peacekeeper in with this pack, which is fair. In this pack, we have another Mech Jockey. We need to make sure to keep him from getting into the suit. I used Mortal Coil on him, so doing my part. You're about to pull the boss, but I go ahead and send my demonic tyrant here because I want to do damage on the boss during his damage amp. And that takes about maybe 15 or 20 seconds into the pull. And I figure we'll spend maybe 20 or 30 more seconds on these adds, and then by the time the damage amp is up, my tyrant will be off cooldown. I think in most cases in Mythic Plus, you kind of just want to send your cooldowns on cooldown, unless the mobs are actually at like 5% and you're lusting the next pull or something, you know. So this boss here, you'll see I dropped my demonic circle as soon as I walk in the room. He's going to kick these soccer balls across the room, and you're going to want to kick them back at the boss for a damage amp. I put my demonic circle here, and then I'm going to walk across the room. That way, if a soccer ball is over here where I'm walking, and where my demonic circle is, I can kind of hit both at the same time. The problem with that, though, is that the tank will be kiting the boss around the room, and he very well could just kite the boss away from your demonic circle, and likely it won't have any use. I always drop it just in case, but your mileage may vary, just depending on how the fight goes. That static pulse, it's really hard, and it interrupts your spell casting. You'll see later I'm casting Tyrant, and I lose some demons because I timed my ramp right into it, and it just was very unfortunate. Here's the soccer ball. You just make sure you line up on it, kick it, super simple. And my ramp timing isn't perfect, but it's good enough. I get my Tyrant off while the boss is taking some damage, because that last ball went in very slowly. I was checking behind me to make sure there were no mobs in the doorway, because I forgot where they were positioned. Somehow I turned off my game sound when I was trying to get there. That's Control S. I don't know how I hit Control S. Here I'm ramping for my Tyrant. I'm getting ready to send him his zone. And the static pulse is coming out at the same time. I lose a bit of my M's here, which is very unfortunate on the timing. Oh well. I also did use my potion in that pull. I probably should have used it. I think I just wasn't paying attention. The boss is going to die here. He's going to do the football mechanic, but it doesn't matter. We can just focus him down. I think I kick one anyways. Yeah, but you don't. You know, he's just dead. And there's one more skip you can do in this part of the dungeon. If you're curious to see that gateway skip, please check out the other video I mentioned earlier. It'll be in the description. These extractors are a real pain to deal with. They do a lot of damage, and yeah, they can easily one-shot you or just wipe your whole group if you're not careful with pulling these. You'll see here my positioning. I get pretty unlucky. It's kind of hard to see when sometimes those circles on the ground overlap. See here momentarily. These circles can overlap, and it looks like you're out of one. But I was caught barely on the edge of one of the first circles, and I die. So just be faster than me. Make sure you run out of those. One of the reasons why I love playing Demonology in this current season, besides the fact that it does so much damage, is that it is really good into chain pulls. You'll see here, because of how this excavator keeps doing his circles, and these final blasts are going off, we don't have many choices of places to move, and someone ends up like walking into the other pack and pulling the other pack as well. I've already used my cooldowns, but Demo's damage is very consistent, and you can just keep it going at about the same DPS level for a long time. If you're playing Affliction and going between packs, sometimes it's hard to generate your soul shards back or whatever, but as Demo, it's pretty much just doing the same rotation over and over and over always, and it's just super consistent. Destruction is nice as well, but Destruction definitely feels a lot worse on packs of like 3 or 4 compared to Demonology and Affliction. You have to choose between, you know, just doing full AoE, like Rain of Fire, which is not good on packs of 3 or 4, and hoping for a Havoc proc, which, I never get those. You're just single targeting in packs of 2 or 3. So in this boss, you will keep summoning these adds, having 2 at a time maximum, and they will always fixate on a ranged DPS, never the healer. If you're the only ranged DPS in the key, it's going to be you every time, both of them. It's quite annoying. The boss is going to buff one of them, the higher percent HP add. You know, if there's different HPs, it's always the one with the higher percent HP. And the one that's buffed is going to stop fixating on somebody, and instead pulse out group-wide damage. You need to focus down the one with more HP that gets, big. The one that's small, that's chasing you the entire time, TPS on it is like okay, I guess, but it's not really relevant. I throw a Demon Bolt at it to proc Doom, and I always keep Curse of Exhaustion on it. You'll also see here, I previously dropped my Demonic Circle. That way when I'm being chased across the room, I can kite the ad away and teleport back. I give myself a few seconds of free casting. This is Demonology. We all know it's pretty annoying when you have to, move and you can't cast. The circle is also good for dodging the other mechanic as well, the big frontal. Luckily for me, in this group there's the mage, so sometimes one of these mobs is chasing the mage instead of only me. I will say this fight feels really nice as Affliction and Destruction. Putting Wither and your other dots on these mobs, and just being able to heavily multi-dot and generate resources from it is pretty nice. The mob's fixating me, but now the boss is buffing it, so it stops fixating me, and I don't need to worry about running away. You can see I'm so kind. As soon as the mob stopped chasing me, I stopped putting Curse of Exhaustion on it. So the mage had to run at full speed away from it. Here, I try and speedrun a little bit, and I die. This place is called the Bar, Grill, and Minefield, and I was unlucky to gateway into a mine. I've also heard it's faster to just stay on your mount and run down this rail track instead of riding in the minecart. You don't have to have the slow animation of getting knocked out of it. So in this pack here, these mobs that cast the Brainstorm are my least favorite in the whole dungeon. They spawn these yellow circles on the ground that have the tornadoes that slowly spin around them. And if you get hit by the tornado, it's a 6-second silence. It is super annoying. And also this Mind Lash ability they do, they focus somebody and just do really heavy single target damage. At hierarchies, you'll want to make sure you pop a defensive or a mortal coil or something. Just make sure you don't die to that. Especially if you get hit by another mechanic or soak one of the tornadoes. One thing about Warlock though is that our wall, if you use our wall, you are immune to silences. So if you see a tornado coming at you, but you're ramping your tyrant and you're about to have a huge tyrant, you could just wall and soak the tornado. Your healer isn't going to like you, but you're going to be doing mad DPS. Also, this is just a pug, we're not in voice or anything, but these tornadoes are baited on a player. So if you and the other ranged DPS, all stack up near melee, you can all move as a group and just avoid these tornadoes. But how we're spaced here, the tornadoes are kind of everywhere. If we stack, they'll all spawn in a general area, and we can move away from them as a group. But they're pretty slow, so it's not that big of a deal, but just a way to optimize. The mage accidentally butt pulls another pack, but since I'm Demonology, I'm perfectly fine to just keep chain pulling and just consistently have new targets to hit. As destruction, if you used Cataclysm on this first pack, and then somebody butt pulled a second pack, it's going to be annoying to replay with it all those mobs, and it's quite frustrating. Affliction has a similar problem, but Demonology does not worry about that at all.
Only the strong.
There, I was getting a lot of incoming damage from those Mind Lashes, and I wanted to run into melee so I could use Mortal Coil to heal for 25% of my HP. And I walked into melee right into a tornado. That was really, really stupid. This key I've had 3 kind of pointless deaths. Not my best performance, that's for sure. I feel like this boss is probably the easiest boss in this entire season. Like, out of this whole rotation, this boss is so simple. I'm not even sure if it's like a high numbers check. The healing, damage taken doesn't seem that high either. So it's quite nice just to sit here and have a patchwork boss. If the frontal is on you, you just blow away all the stuff on the ground. If it's not on you, you just get out of the way. The boss is being tanked like right on the edge of the stuff on the ground. And I didn't really want to step in it to blow it away, but it does very little damage. You could easily step into the stuff on the ground for, 2 or 3 seconds to start propelling it away, and you should be fine. If you get into hierarchies though, 14, 15, maybe you'll want to use a small personal for it, but this 13 I took barely any damage from it. From here I get cut off, but just gateway across. So this warlock is no big deal. I placed my demonic circle at the beginning of the fight, specifically for that reason. In case I got cut off, but I got cut off in a different section. So, oh well. I want to send my Tyrant here, but since the boss is dying, I'm not using 2 minutes. I just send my Tyrant on its own. I'm very generous with using my 1 minute cooldowns, just on cooldown all the time. But I figured I'm not going to get really much use out of my Trinket or my 2 minute cooldowns, so I save them for the next Tyrant coming up soon. In this section as well, Demonology is quite good at dealing with these mines. When the mines spawn, you can put Curse of Exhaustion on them to slow them. You can easily just swap to them with your demons. Or you can do what that mage did and just walk straight into it and blow it up. But I'm not sure if that's always advisable. This ability, the Charged Shot ability, does really heavy group-wide damage. You'll see at the end of this part, before the last boss, there's going to be 2 of those adds at once. You need to use a defensive when it comes to that ability being stacked. You'll see here I'm just Curse of Exhaustioning these adds. And I'll go ahead and just pop my cooldowns too on them, kill them, and then transition from them into the big mech suit fighting next. In this fight, I'm generally targeting these ads, unless I can cleave off of something onto the ads. I just want to kill them first, or CC them, just so people in melee don't have to struggle so much with playing. Plus, they're pretty low HP compared to everything else, so it's just much more efficient, in my opinion, to kill them quickly. we had 2 accidental pulls throughout this dungeon, but the tank is doing a pretty good job at keeping up with the extra percent we need. He's been able to reroute, like, on the fly. I was quite impressed with that through this key. We went back for these 2 mobs, and then we have the 2 mech suits at the end of the dungeon, and he's going to get us right about at 100% perfectly. So props to this tank, Bug Bunny. There's a few mines between us and the last Peacekeepers too, but they're like 0.5% or something like that. And we're actually pretty worried about this next pack as well, so we debated listing it earlier instead of the boss, and that's what we'll do here. This charge shot is the big AoE. Having defensives up here is really important. I don't have a defensive, so I just have the health potion instead. But we have Lust up, so the healer is able to keep us up no problem. As Demo, I can easily cleave down the mines and just destroy them. Now we've got 6 minutes left to kill the last boss, which is plenty of time. I'm straight chilling. You can see in chat that I said I hate this boss, which is true. I hate this boss. He's quite annoying. The one thing I do at the beginning is I drop my Demonic Circle. The Demonic Circle is really helpful for getting around this fight. There's a few mechanics you want to dodge with it. The first one is this homing missile. The boss will spawn a missile that targets a player, and anybody else in this zone, when it blows up, will take damage. But the best way I found to do it is to kind of just move away from your group barely, make sure they're not inside the ring with you, and then walk into the mine and blow it up. Positioning in this fight is really important, so I don't want to have to run across the room to avoid this missile, because I might be in the wrong place and get hit by a different mechanic. I can teleport back to the group after soaking the mine, and I'm good. These rockets that are on the floor here, you can see that he got one shot by them. They are determined by helicopters on the sides of the room. You can see here there's one helicopter over here on the left, and there's going to be another helicopter, like this Mimron's head, on the right side of the room as well. Based on where they're facing, they'll shoot mines across the room, and it makes it unsafe to stand there. And the last important mechanic for this part of the fight is this Gatling gun the boss does. It's a huge frontal that goes across the whole platform, and he just spins pretty fast, so you have to just sprint ahead of it to get away. You can put your Demonic Circle, and if the boss passes over it, you can just teleport straight back to your Demonic Circle and not have to run so much. I got unfortunate though that I had to run away with the missile at the beginning, so my Demonic Circle's on cooldown. So I can't teleport back immediately, like I want to. So now I'm just running instead. So next you'll see micro missiles coming up. I can see the first helicopter here. He is facing straight ahead this way. In this direction my mouse is moving. So he's going to shoot his missiles this direction where my mouse is moving. The other helicopter is in this area over here. And based on where he's facing, I'll be able to tell where those missiles are going to be spawning at. I see this one is facing straight ahead this direction. So the 2 missiles are going to make an L in this shape here. So this quadrant of the room that my group is in is safe. Just like that. Mages the missile, I should move to give them room. And that's it. Missile, gun, and those helicopters. I can see the helicopters are now moving. You can watch the helicopter, it repositions across the room, and you'll be able to see where it's going to shoot again next time. I can see this helicopter did not move at all, and this one is likely going to face pretty much the same as it was before. So we're all pinging this area because we know this is the safe spot to be. But I'm being chased over here, so I need to be careful. Got the missile, I walk away from the group. When they're out of range, I let it blow up on me, then I go back. And phase 1 of this fight is a simple dance of just doing those 3 mechanics over and over. You can see the helicopter going over to my left. The one across the room on the right hasn't moved at all, so I know where it's facing. And I was wrong, actually. This entire section of the map was clear, to left and right. Now, at 50%, the boss will spawn 2 ads. These ads will just randomly target players and shoot them, so you gotta kill them quickly. And the boss will spawn 3 little rockets, or spikes? I'm not sure what they're called. Bombs. And the boss will target a player and slam down on them after a few seconds. You want to make sure the boss slams on the missile, on those rockets, if he's targeting you. I'll show you a better camera angle in a second when I kill these ads. So he takes the rocket, he takes the slam over to the rocket, and crushes it. They blow up and do group-wide damage, but this is the only way to break his shield, so make sure you can help and heal yourself if you have to. I mortal coil the boss there because I didn't have any HP. Or health stones, so I dropped new ones. Normally in your group, when you get in the hierarchies, somebody will always be watching for these helicopters and pinging where to go, which is quite handy. And since we moved to this corner of the room, it's not a bad idea for me to replace my demonic circle, so that way I can dodge the Gatling gun much easier. I don't do it, but I could. Here I can see that this helicopter, where it's facing, and I can see this one over here on the right, is not facing me either, so we're safe in this corner here. And that's it. The phase 1 and phase 3 are the exact same. The intermission, you know, it's not so bad either. I think just learning where those missiles are when they're shooting across the room is the hardest part of this fight. Also, you can kite that missile for a long time. I think it despawns after 10 seconds. So if you're just kind of having fun and memeing around, you can just run in circles with it. You know, and make your group think you're crazy. Yes, there we go. We finished the key in time. And overall, 3.36 million DPS. So, not bad. Hopefully you learned something from this video. But that's going to be it for me. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.